2018. No signs that Brazil have the players to end a 24-year run without success at the World Cup finals.
Oh no, no. We want to see something else, don't we, from Brazil that makes us excited. And at this moment in the qualification games, it hasn't happened.
A chance for Luis Enrique to come on and to earn his spurs as well.
Yeah, that was Wesley down the side. The right back got forward. I don't know what he was doing. Was that a cross? Was that a shot? Because he doesn't wrap his foot around it at all.
I think only he knows. He's not having the best of auditions.
No. See, things like that, they're not even pressing as a team. Vini Jr. and Cunha go towards the edge of the box, and then Martinelli, Casemiro, Enrique, they're miles behind it. So the goalkeeper just plays it out to Tchouaméni, who turns. So the organisation's certainly not there yet. I mean, we've still got a lot of time to go, but they need to jump into gear a little bit more, Brazil.
There's Enrique, these days plays his football for Zenit St. Petersburg. Had a good season at Botafogo, where he won the Copa Libertadores. Launching his career, actually got the man of the match in the final. So given an opportunity by Ancelotti.
I mean, they are scattered far and wide, aren't they, a lot of the Brazilian players?
Most in European competition, but he has to have a good feed of Saudi Arabian football as well for a number of those on the fringe. Plays with Macy tonight. Ryan of Bournemouth, who's got his first call-up. Igor Thiago's been booming the goals in for Brentford in the English Premier League. Only Haaland has scored more this season in the English elite. Better from Brazil. At least they're being a little bit more forthright in the second half. 6 at the feet of Martinelli, and then a missed control at the final moment from Casemiro.
Yeah, I think Martinelli was trying to find Vini Jr. and Casemiro comes bursting through. It nearly falls into his path. Just fired at him a little bit hard because, of course, the pass was originally going to go to Vini Jr.
There is Vinicius Jr. And again, when you see him play for Real Madrid, you'd maybe expect him to take the defender on that. Trying to be a little unselfish. Gets it back to Casemiro, across the face of goal. Oh, the goalkeeper had given up the chase on that one, and it was a fine block of necessity from Konaté.
Yeah, but it's better from Brazil. Again, get the ball forward, let the main men, with all respect, play. Vini Jr. into Casemiro, into Cunha, into Martinelli, and then a block by Konaté, but it's better. Let the front four have the ball as much as possible.
Brazil has a reputation to live up to. For decades seen as the most flamboyant football, carnival footballers. First half was disappointment. Second half, at least they're taking the game to France.
And Enrique's had the impact straight away, the substitute. Going to run at Theo Hernandez a couple of times and skip past them. Just starts to build a little bit of pressure.
Times the criticism of Didier Deschamps is that this team don't play flamboyant football, but they have been measured and organised, and now it's a test of the defence. And the first save of the game from Maignan falls to Vinicius Jr. Draws the defenders, lays it back to Casemiro, tries to pass it in. Well, a marked improvement from Brazil.
Yeah, and that was Enrique again, I think it was, Rob. cutting in. Again, attacking Theo Hernandez. Great run by Wesley around the outside. Nice shot, simple enough for the goalkeeper. But they've started really well, Brazil.
Luis Enrique had a couple of good seasons at Real Betis in La Liga after they invested a lot of money to sign him from Fluminense. And he back to Brazil. He's a bit of a globetrotter, playing for Zenit in St. Petersburg, and an opportunity tonight for him to impress Carlo Ancelotti. He's got a tough act to follow as well, coming on for Rafinha.
I don't have a problem.
Gusto. Canate. Brazil pressing high. Ancelotti with a limited amount of time to work with his players, only appointed, was it 13 months ago? Made his debut against Ecuador. And the qualifiers, they didn't win away from home. They drew in Ecuador and were beaten by Bolivia. They relied on their home form to finish in 5th place. That looked suspiciously offside. That looked like a foul. That looked like a good tackle. The referee has a couple of decisions to make here. Vini Jr. swears, almost literally, that the challenge was inside the penalty area. We'll go to the VAR. Cunha on to the loose ball. Maybe they chose that he'd come off a defender.
Yeah. It's up to Meccano. It was outside the penalty area anyway. Scruffy. Just a tangle of legs.
And it's Wesley again who went on the adventure. I think what they're trying to argue is that it was a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah. I don't think he must be sending anybody off in a friendly match, is there?
He looks a little sheepish though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's going through the mind of the Bayern Munich man. He's looking up at the stadium screen to see if he has any clues. They're definitely outside the area.
Yeah.
You factor in clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It's a fullback that is going through.
He's going to look
well, the referee has been brought to the touchline. Upamecano is looking very nervously. Now, well, that is what they're looking at. Well, there wasn't a defender between.
Yeah, it is then, isn't it?
Upamecano and the goalkeeper.
Was that not offside? But anyway, it was a scruffy challenge, wasn't it? He gets in front of him. It is a goal. It is denial of a goal scored opportunity. Of course it is.
So if you're VAR, are you going to request that he's dismissed?
Him off, won't you? Yeah. It was a really awful challenge from Upamecano. I don't know what he's doing. Just runs across him and bounces into him, but of course he was going to get a shot on target.
The referee has assessed the video evidence. It's not a yellow, it's a red. And France will play a player light for the remainder of the game. Friendly? What friendly? Well, as soon as the referee gave the free kick, he was looking very guilty.
Yeah.
Upamecano, his only escape clause was if in the build-up it had been offside.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost saying Upamecano that it was a... He was onside, wasn't he? He's almost saying it was accidentally runs into him. That's what he's saying. You can see that. But once he gives the foul, the referee, the only question then is it denying a goal-scoring opportunity, and it was. Whether you think it's a foul or not is another thing, but once the foul is given, it was going to be a red. At least he's close to the dressing rooms.
Well, France with a 1-goal advantage, but a 1-player disadvantage. And Didier Deschamps is going to make a change.
I think he's going to make a couple.
And do you do that when you're defending a free kick in a situation like this? Can Brazil make the most of it?
I like the fact that the Ballon d'Or winners lying on the floor behind the wall. That's good of him, isn't it?
Most expensive doorstop in the world.
Just a bit.
And Pereira and Martinelli, the players over it. Curled in by the Brazilian, coolly taken by Maignan, who's been the busier goalkeeper all of a sudden.
Well, it should make it more of a contest now in the second half. They've started well, Brazil. Numerical advantage. Let's see if they can make the most of it.
It was an unusual choice as a free kick take of the centre half making his debut.
I know, wasn't it just Vinny Jr.? You've got all these superstar players and the centre defender tries to take it.
Well, it's going to be time for change. It's going to be Maxence Lacroix who will come on when they have programmed the computer. It's better that they get these little technical glitches out of the way now. And also N'Golo Kante, so you can read the mind of Didier Deschamps there. Not that the fourth official can read the writing of the Real Madrid admin team there. Well, he'll come on and bring some defensive ballast. Look at Tchouaméni there, he looks perplexed by the manager's change.
Yeah, Lacroix on.
Dembele's taken off as well.
For Kante.
And Tchouaméni's number is up, that is why he looks perplexed.
Yeah. Whether he's making another substitution then.
Who, me?
Now he's going off. So who's coming on for Dembele?
Well, you think N'Golo Kante's going to take his place as the disruptor in midfield. He's in no great hurry. And it will be the last dance this summer for N'Golo Kante. Still going strong in the autumn days of what has been a glorious career.
Yeah, so Dembele off, Lacroix on. And now Kante for Tchouaméni. There's that forward in midfield and Kylian Mbappe up front on his own. So Hugo Ekitike, who's going to have to play off the left. Elise off the right. Rabiot, Kante central.
And international debut at senior level for Maxence Lacroix, who plays his football for Crystal Palace. You won't want to see one of his star players dismissed, Didier Deschamps, but in some ways he'll welcome his team being tested in extreme circumstances.
Yeah.
It could happen in the World Cup finals, and he has to revert to not even be plan B or plan C, somewhere down the alphabet. Vinicius Junior. Wesley, the man who caused the incident that led to the red card. Douglas Santos. Lazy ball.
A lovely pass, wasn't it? By Canate. Talk about taking your eyes off the ball. You've seen that a couple of times this year in a Liverpool shirt.
There has to be a more disciplined approach by France in the second half. Remember, Dembele in the first half had the freedom of Foxborough, but it's all Brazil now, understandably. The 11 men of Brazil. Olise. Gusto back to Maignan, sticks at the boots of the French goalkeeper. His heart missed a beat then, I think. Wesley. Ederson hasn't really been tested in this game. There's little he could do to stop that Kylian Mbappe goal in the 32nd minute. He's completely exposed by his new look makeshift defence. There's captain Casemiro.
It should be a lot easier, shouldn't it, for Brazil here now, but as you said before, Rob, France have just got back into a nice shape, and things like this could happen in the World Cup, so it's not a bad test for them. Can they be organised? Can they be solid?
Vinicius Junior has got little change out of Gusto today. Tries a fanciful little flick to Casemiro. Cleverly disguised pass. Brilliant tackle. Interception from Gusto.
Yeah, nice ball actually by Casemiro. Very cute, lovely play by Vinny Junior.
So it's the new boy in the team, but he's actually a veteran, Douglas Santos, who's been given an opportunity tonight. 32 years of age, his second coming at international level. Change is made, Martinelli is off, and João Pedro of Chelsea is his replacement. It's gone down well with the massed Brazilian supporters inside the stadium. Henry, Douglas Santos. They still line up waiting for the cross, the Brazilian players in the penalty area, but what a challenge that was from Kylian Mbappe, but he gives it away. Tries to be a help in defence. He's becoming a bit of a hindrance down there.
I was going to say that. Ball didn't bounce on the pitch as well, did he? Mbappe just throwing off a few skills. Yeah, you wonder where João Pedro will fit in. He's a proper number 9, isn't he? I'd have him in my team if you've got Vinny Junior and Rafinha either side. I think that's a better balance as a number 9. Cunha likes to play a little bit deeper, doesn't he? So it's interesting to see. He's got a plethora of forwards, hasn't he, Carlo Ancelotti? But it's in defensive areas is where he doesn't have enough depth, I think. You know, when you've got Estevao, when you've got Thiago, when you've got João Pedro to come on, Rayan, if he does play, who's exciting but is only young, of course. They should be able to score goals at least.
There's a deep pool of promising talent.
Yeah, promising. Yeah, that's the opposite word, isn't it?
And João Pedro making his 7th appearance tonight. He's yet to score a goal for Brazil. He has had an impressive first season with Chelsea, 18 goals for Chelsea. Right, France break from the back. Olise draws defenders, brilliant ball to Ekitike, who walks it in, and France come alive. They breeze into a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, 10 men, no problem. This all stems right from the very back, from the goalkeeper playing out to the left back, and they make it and pass the ball through the pitch. This is a lovely goal. Unfortunately, we're only seeing the very latter end of it when the 4 forwards break, but actually it stems right back. Olise to Ekitike, just dinks it, chips it over Ederson again. He could have went to Mbappe, goes to Ekitike, beautiful finish. Bit like Mbappe, he's just scooping it over the goalie, little jab. But actually, the goal starts way, way back down the pitch, and they cut through Brazil. Really classily, lovely goal.
All going according to plan for Didier Deschamps. His 2nd goal at international level for Hugo Ekitike, scored back in November against Ukraine.
That's his last kick of the game as well, mate.
Not a bad last kick to have either, is it? You see on the plane back to the United States in the summer is very much assured. And they hardly weaken by bringing on Thuram and Doué and a double substitution. What a young talent Doué is.
Oh, yeah.
Brazil make a change. No, they've just got the graphic wrong there. And it's Kylian Mbappe. Score of a goal tonight. Don't want to overexert him. Passes on the bat to Marcus Thuram.
Yeah, they were both ready to come on, weren't they? The two goal scorers. Mbappe, Ekitike off. 65 minutes is enough for him.
Here's Elise stepping through the Brazilian defenders. If you're just tuning in, France actually have a player less. You wouldn't believe it, the way they're dominating this game. Rabiot with a left-footed shot there.
Yeah, lovely ball by Marcus Thuram. Little flick into Rabiot's path, just doesn't catch with it. But you're right. It's France who have really responded in this last 10 minutes.
Vinicius Junior. Moreno to Casemiro.
So they've fallen back into a nice shape again, haven't they, France, when they don't have the ball. Brazil will have to move the ball a bit quicker because France just dropped back into 2-4s and the one with Thuram there. And they're hard to break down, even with 10 men.
He's putting up the roadblocks. They won't mind them having possession as long as it's 35, 40 yards away from goal.
The centre defenders can have the ball all day long, no problem when you're 2-0 up. Don't care about that.
It's almost like they're sparring partners for France at the moment. They're certainly the heavyweights of world football in this performance.
Yeah, they absorb it, France, and then they just break.
Kante, go wide, everybody getting a touch. More changes. Must be due a water break at some point.
Yeah. As you speak.
Oh, there we go. I don't think we can call it a cooling break.
Is this just to get them prepared for the summer? Is this what this is?
It's going to happen in the summer, yeah. There's going to be there's around a 3-minute break, once a half.
No, I know. So why are they doing it now when it's freezing cold? Well, it's not freezing cold, but it's not hot enough for a cooling break. Is it just practice?
I think you need to call it a rest stop. Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kylian's got a big coat on. It's not that warm.
He scored a big goal after 32 minutes. Kylian Mbappe. In some ways going through the paces this evening, but
some of his best moments. Don't know about that. Just skipping past Wesley though, it's showing his goal. This was the nice part.
Moment, wasn't it? The magic touch.
Made up his mind exactly what he was going to do. Running quite flat onto the goalie, flipped it over him.
That was when he came back and did the defensive work.
Yeah, this is defensive work, then he gives the ball away.
He'll be trying to impress Arbeloa, the coach of Real Madrid, who's asked for a greater work ethic.
Yeah.
Good to see him unharmed, and that's not a bad bench, is it, when you've got Dembele sitting alongside Kylian Mbappe. He looked very cool and rested at the start of the game, Carlo Ancelotti. He looks every one of his 66 years now. The games coming thick and fast for you. Two of the World Cup finalists, or at the finals this summer. Morocco against Ecuador. Tune in tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time. That is on the ESPN app. Of course, Morocco, the opening opponents for Brazil in June in New Jersey. The change is about to be made. Thiago is coming on. What a great season he's had.
Yeah, Danilo's
So
on.
Danilo as well.
Wow, so many changes, isn't it? That's the only thing about friendly exhibition matches. Once the changes start happening, it gets so fragmented, doesn't it?
If you're commentating, you need one of those dabbers that you
Yeah,
have at the
yeah,
bingo,
yeah.
Steve, as well. Ibanez has come on for Wesley at fullback. We'll get up to speed with the changes in a second. Mateus Cunha has run his race. Igor Thiago is rewarded for an excellent season after a nightmare year with injury.
That was Canate, wasn't it? Get the yellow card. Painful one on the knee. Smashing into João Pedro.
He's already lost his defensive partner, Upamecano, with that red card. He's moving a little gingerly after committing the foul. Canate, confirmation of the caution. Looks like Casemiro maybe has to go the full distance. The 34-year-old, one of the senior stars for Brazil. They need Vinicius Junior. They can't rest him. Tries a trick, but he's got absolutely nothing tonight out of the excellent Gusto. Some of the supporters getting their money's worth because they're seeing the depth of the two squads.
Yeah, they are.
I wonder if we will see Endrick, who had a nightmarish first half of the season. He was hardly used by Real Madrid. Didn't get a game until November when Xabi Alonso is in charge, and he's been electric at Lyon with.
Yeah, he's done really well at Lyon. New lease of life, isn't he? Started to work a little bit harder. I know his work rate was questions at Real Madrid.
He's got 11 goal involvements, as they say these days, in his 13 matches. 6 goals and 5 assists.
Yeah, he's done well at Lyon, hasn't he? Just pushed them further up Ligue 1.
The managers of the opponents of Brazil, of Morocco, Haiti and Scotland, will not be fearing the South Americans on this showing. Vinicius Junior pumps it in there. Excellent defending from Lacroix. Elise back on defensive duty, but he'd overstepped the line.
Yeah, right idea by Vinny Junior. Elise's done really well, gets back, helps out Gusto, but it's a good ball in and a good defensive header by Lacroix.
Marcus Thuram of Inter Milan, dozen goals so far this season. Different kind of centre forward to Kylian Mbappe. I mean, he's irreplaceable, isn't he? Vinicius, everything seems to be going through the artery of the Brazilian number 10 now. They have to watch their step as he takes on the whole of the French team. Rabiot. Oh, soul short again. A chance for a third goal, and that was a lazy, almost a forearm smash. No disputing that was going to be a yellow card.
Yeah.